Hi, it's me, Castleman again, and I'm invading your computer screen. Though actually, I'm not. You probably willfully clicked on this. I hope. I hope no one's forcing you to watch this. I certainly am not. I hope. Am I in the future? Like, did I go crazy? Like, am I forcing you to listen to this podcast at some point in the future? At some point, I guess I need to tell you my weakness real quick so you can take me down. Wait. If I was forcing you to watch this, then why would I? Oh, gee, someone else is. Well, I guess someone else is forcing you to listen to this. I guess you're out of luck, man. Sorry, but anyway, for other people who aren't,
can punch them in the face after you've done listening.
Okay, yeah. Well, now they know. You should have said that, Daniel, because now they know they're gonna be punched in the face after they stop listening.
Well, that'll only.
Well, I guess it's doomed that this is gonna be the last thing you ever listen to. So this heightens the stakes, Daniel. We better make this the best podcast ever.
Well, we're fucked then.
Okay. But we got a treatment for you. We're gonna rant about some of the worst Spidey stuff that's ever had that the media or whatever else you want to call things that deal with Spidey has ever had to offer. And there's been some bad stuff, and there's been some terrible stuff, and then there's some stuff that is so terrible that it just makes a full circle back to being wonderful. So. But first off, I brought again my co-host from the last episode, Daniel Morrison. How are you doing?
Not bad, you?
I'm doing pretty good, I would say. But first off, I want to talk about Ultimate Spider-Man. I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, they'll get us angry.
So, what was your the first time that you saw Ultimate? Like, did you see it like first time it aired, or did you just like?
I saw it. We had like Sky TV or something, and there was Disney XD, and at one point I was flicking through the channels and it said Ultimate Spider-Man. I was like, "Who's Spider-Man?" And then I clicked on it, and then yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just gonna go over it and like, because I saw a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man. Like, I like hate watched it. I like watched it with just so much extreme venom and fury in my heart. So, you can kind of expect like, So I actually saw a lot of episodes, even though I hated pretty much everything to do with it.
I saw every episode in the first season.
Yeah, me too. I continued into the third. It wasn't until the third season when I just sort of started to peter out. Just stop watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. Okay.
I couldn't. I remember just finishing season 1 and I was like, I can't be arsed watching any more of this.
Yeah. So, well, I guess it started. And what was most interesting when I first saw that very first episode. No, actually, that was my first experience with it. What? I didn't see the episode. I read a comic based on the episode before I saw the actual episode because I was at a comic store on Free Comic Book Day, and it was there. And I was just like, oh, I'll take this then. And so I read. It was basically just like a comic book version. Just using stills from the show.
Right.
So pretty lazy and dumb.
And
I was just like, the first episode, and then I saw the first. The first episode is just so bland. It's not like offensive. It's just so generic and nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh boy, it's a Spider-Man cartoon, and the big villain to start us off in the pilot is the Frightful Four.
Were they again?
A problem with the what?
Who were the Frightful Four again?
they're like the Fantastic Four nemesis.
Oh,
Nemesis
okay.
there.
Why are they in a Spider-Man show?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing with it, it's like, it's not much about Spider-Man. It's like so much of it is to kowtow to the Avengers and all these things where it's just like, okay, let's we need to tie this into the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the kids. Watching the show will be, I want to see Avengers, even though at this point Spidey wasn't in the Avengers, so what's the point?
Yeah.
Why tease Spider-Man training to become a... honestly, this show would have made more sense after the deal with Marvel Studios was announced.
Yeah.
But at this point, why don't you just make a good Spidey show?
Yeah.
You know, just about Spidey. And he's basically in a team with teenage versions of Iron Fist, and Luke Cage, and all these characters who are pretty much definitely adults. And you could have used some other. I mean, if they had just used teen heroes who are typically who are already teens, say maybe in one of the X-Men, maybe Kitty Pryde, have Kitty Pryde be on the team, and you can have the relationship from the Ultimate Comics.
That would have been something. That would have been better.
Exactly. And the biggest thing with the show is it has nothing to do with the comics.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It doesn't have anything to do with Spider-Man as a character, I'd argue.
I mean, and the big thing is, it doesn't have anything to do with the comics, and, I mean, the only thing that it has from Ultimate is that, it takes the worst thing from Ultimate. The only recognizably Ultimate, air quote, thing that it has is the big goblin monster.
I hate the big goblin monster.
I know! That's the only thing they take from the Ultimate Comics, and it's the worst thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Spider-Man in high school, but there's no point to have Spider-Man in high school.
Yeah.
They don't even focus on it. They have we're gonna have these guys attend the high school with them, but it doesn't really focus that much on having fun with it.
Yeah.
It's just really, really dumb. Oh my gosh, and they brought Phil Coulson in, and he doesn't really. He's the principal, and what's the point?
I remember one episode where he went out with Aunt May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Why is every MCU character obsessed with Aunt May now?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Making her younger and younger, I guess.
Yeah.
And and after that, the first two episodes, we got an episode where Spider-Man is personally responsible for bringing Doctor Doom to the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility.
So much for with great power comes great responsibility.
And that was the literal title of the first two episodes.
That's stupid.
And I hate how the whole premise is I'm Nick Fury. I'm going to teach you about real responsibility. I'm just what? What? What the hell? So Nick Fury is going to teach Spider-Man about responsibility.
No. It's stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, but there was the point when I knew the show was terrible, flat out awful.
Yeah.
Was when it wasn't the Doom episode. That was just I was just it was still at the point of mediocre, generic. It's the Venom episode where Venom. He's not the alien. Okay, that's fine because it's Ultimate.
Yeah.
But it's not the Ultimate thing where he's a where he's a cure for cancer. No, it's butt blood. It's
what?
Spider-Man's ass blood. You see the episode? Dr. Octopus.
I saw it. It was so bad.
Gets a robot to take a sample of Spider-Man's blood, which is from his butt, and the robot rips his pants off so we can have a nice joke. Oh look, Spider-Man ripped his pants. He's showing his butt to everybody.
It's just so bad and pathetic that I can't help but laugh. That's how bad it is.
Oh my gosh. It's like that Dan Slott. I mean, I'm not a fan of Dan Slott's writing on Spider-Man.
Me neither.
But in Superior Spider-Man, I thought there was a really great, at the end, there was a really great moment when, like, when Peter Parker's, did you read Superior Spider-Man?
I read the first few issues.
Okay, well, I own, like, the first two couple. I actually own... I own, like, every volume of it. What's wrong with me? But,
Good question.
I was actually kind of enjoying it. But I thought the best part, and the best writing Dan Slott has ever done for Spidey. It's not even like a really great. It's just kind of a superficial. Oh, fun! The moment when Green Goblin realizes that Peter is back in Dr. Octopus's body. I mean,
yeah. Peter's back in his own body. Yeah.
Yeah, and when Spidey makes a joke, and then like when the Goblin's like, oh wait, what? Oh, and yeah, I thought that was awesome. I did think that was legit cool.
Yeah, I saw those panels and I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it. And then Dan Slott just turns right around and just poops on all that shit. Like, he just takes a huge dump by having, like, what, Spider-Man is, like, accidentally naked or something. Oh, look, it's funny. And, like, everyone's, like, looking, it's like, oh, that's Peter Parker. Ha. No. Maybe after we finish talking about Ultimate, we should just rant about Dan Slott.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
He's been on the thing for 10 issues. I mean, not 10. I wish 10 issues.
Yeah.
10 years.
Fuck.
Stop it. Why?
Since 2007, then.
What?
So since 2007.
Let me double check. I think so. Hasn't he been like in charge of it since One More Day?
I think.
Yeah. Oh, he started in 2008.
Okay, so 9 years.
Still the same.
Yeah.
So, just stop. And then after that, we got Irons. Well, first off, let me just rant a little more about Venom. Okay, Venom. All right. But is the first villain he fights.
The first Spider-Man villain he fights, yeah.
Okay, I kind of like Venom. I mean, I don't really rag on him, but I enjoy him when he's been built up to properly. Yeah. I think Venom is important when it's best for Venom to have. You're supposed to have that backstory of Spidey having connection with the symbiote. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
However, they totally went over this. And who is Venom? Harry Osborn. What?
Yeah.
What?
Would have made more sense if he was Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's just awful.
Yep.
And then we had Iron Man come in and give him the Iron Spider suit or something. And
yeah.
I really listen to this entire show and just gets to where it's just basically, oh boy, what guest star of the Avengers are we gonna have today?
There's one episode where he loses Captain America's shield and has to get it back because he was playing with it.
What?
I'm pretty sure there's an episode where he loses Captain America's shield, like they were playing with it or something.
Yeah. There was. I remember I was just like pretty much in a. Oh yeah, that's right. There was one episode that was based directly off of Ultimate, and Brian Michael Bendis himself said this was the worst story he ever wrote.
Wow.
The one where Spider-Man and Wolverine switched their minds, and even then, it wasn't as interesting as the comic because it was like Mesmero who did it, and it wasn't like something really funny at the end where it was just revealed. Jean Grey did it because she was sick of Wolverine hitting on her, I thought that was a pretty. Actually, I thought that was a pretty good reveal. And I mean, but seriously, the episode didn't even. So they take the worst comic Brian Michael Bendis said he ever wrote for Ultimate, and they make it worse.
Wow. That's just embarrassing.
And I love the Ultimate comics. I do. I will like. It depends. It depends on my love for them. I mean, it's like a variety of things. Like, I liked how they did the origin pretty well.
They did the origin pretty well. I love their characterization of Peter Parker.
I like him in some cases. How far are you into reading it?
I recently finished volume 5, which was Public Scrutiny.
Okay. Yeah, I've read the entire run.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, and there is one part where I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Maybe it's just the artist, because the artist was like drawing Peter Parker in a way where I'm just like, this is ridiculous. But I like my favorite thing about Ultimate is actually the relationship that Peter had with Kitty Pryde, because I don't know, it felt so interesting and genuine, and I loved how they got together, and it was just really I felt that, and I actually kind of hate Ultimate Mary Jane, because I don't really, she's just like a generic teenage girl.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
She doesn't really have like the fun spunkiness of the 616 counterpart, and she just kind of like, and I guess she has like the mean father and stuff, but it's
I found
what.
No, I'm not saying. Go on.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying she's terrible. It's just she's not really that great. And the entire premise of the thing is like, oh, they're so madly in love. They're 15-year-olds, but oh, this is true love. And oh, I will marry you. And like they break up so many times that it's like it just actively is trying to convince you that that their love is just total horseshit. It's just so dumb. And yeah, I think, and then when he gets together with Kitty Pryde, I'm like, yeah, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I found Ultimate Gwen more like Mary Jane than Mary Jane.
I know.
I liked Ultimate Gwen.
Yeah.
She was Shui.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah.
Sway, yeah. So, I did like that episode, was it Me Time? Where it's just like, Spider-Man actually fights one of his villains. He like insists on a weekend off from like SHIELD, and he ends up fighting Dr. Octopus. I actually kind of like that episode because it actually felt kind of like inspired by some comics, because he fought him at Coney Island, and then there was an underwater and in an underwater like layer. So I thought that was kind of cool. But it wasn't like done well. It was just like, oh, look, it's at least it's a little bit like the comics.
It vaguely resembles Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the thing that annoys me most about Ultimate is the cartoon is the way they've done the character of Peter Parker / Spider-Man. It pisses me off.
And you know what's a really interesting thing about it?
What?
There was like, in the 26 episode first season, there were I want to say 4 actual Spider-Man villains in it. There was Dr. Octopus, there was the Green Goblin, there was Venom, and there was an episode where they went to like a tropical island and met Sandman.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That's
it was so focused on setting up the Avengers and all that garbage that it didn't even once. And this is 26 episodes.
Yeah.
Just think. I mean, the only like major Spider-Man villains that Spectacular didn't introduce, and it's 26 episode one where like Hobgoblin, Scorpion, Carnage, And is that it?
They were going to do Hydro Man in season 3.
Okay, Hydro Man. But seriously, in 26 episodes, it's just it's frankly it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It's just awful. And yeah, it's insulting. Yeah, but and then all of a sudden there's like, oh, we gotta catch. Oh, we want to do the Sinister Six in this season, so let's catch up. So like, it's like it's the literal first episode of the first. Do it's the literal title of the first episode.
What?
The Lizard and Electro. No, and they're even thinking of creative titles like The Rise of Electro or The Hunt Begins. No, it's The Lizard, Electro, the Rhino, Craven the Hunter.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Spectacular had creative titles. They named after sciencey.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. It's so awesome.
Yeah, like their first episode was called Survival of the Fittest, for example.
What?
Like.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just so bad. It's just awful, and it just makes me like depressed that this is the longest running Spider-Man show, and
it's longer running than the '90s show.
What?
It's longer running than the '90s show. That had 5 seasons, didn't it?
Yeah, it has this. It had 5 seasons and 65 episodes. This is like 80 episodes.
Oh fuck.
No, wait. Let me double check that.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh, I miscalculated the episode count. It has 104 episodes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What? You is the reason that they're able to get 104 episodes of this god-awful show out? Because do you know how much time was spent writing this garbage?
I'm going to
like, how much time was maybe I think writing each season maybe took 1 day.
I would not surprise me.
They just it's like, oh, okay, this character does this in this episode, and this character does this and this. Oh, okay, that's done. Let's move on to episode. And what I was like half of it. I wouldn't have been surprised if half of it was improvised by the voice actors, and they just came up and like, oh, okay, that's good. Okay, that'll. Let's say that they just like give them like random studio notes for each episode. Okay, this episode, he's gonna fight Electro. Okay, we have the actors here in the studio. Tell the story. Maybe the voice actors should be given story credits. Because seriously, how can you get 100 episodes out? I mean, that they basically just totally just dropped the ball on everything here.
Yeah.
All the episodes are so monotonous and so dumb that there's no point in any. If you watch a single episode, you're not gonna see if any characters learned anything, if any characters found out anything new. The story doesn't progress. I mean, maybe it has some general arc, but it's usually just something like, oh, Spider-Man has bad guys. He wants to be in S.H.I.E.L.D. Norman Osborn exists. Something like that, but it's not anything that actually works.
Yeah.
It's just dumb and. Oh my gosh, there was the one episode in season 2 that I thought was okay was the Deadpool episode, because it kind of took the frankly awful fourth wall breaking thing and actually did some fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an okay episode.
I didn't see that one. I think I saw some clips, but that was it.
It was funny. Like, I mean, at the end, it was the final battle.
What was the final battle?
I legit thought this was clever. The final battle was that it was a face-off between Spider-Man and Deadpool. Out meta each other. Like, I know this is not Spider-Man, but it was enjoyable
Yeah.
because I was like, oh, here's and like let's get all these and it was just like this back and forth, and it was a really enjoyable thing, and Spider-Man actually was able to like beat Deadpool through the fourth wall breaking. It was actually really interesting.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not something Spider-Man should be doing, but it was interesting. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I really hate the whole Spider-Man fourth wall breaking thing.
It's just not in the character.
It's not Spider-Man.
Do you want to have do you want to have a recent revelation? Do you know who's the best Deadpool?
Who?
The best version of Deadpool, best written version of Deadpool. The version in the Just Some Random Guy videos.
Yeah, I had a similar revelation a while back.
I mean, seriously. I mean, he works because he's not just in a movie and aware of that. He's an action figure in a parody series about the movies,
Yeah.
and he's aware of that.
Yeah.
That is very clever, and the story and you get to see him interact with everyone.
Yeah.
And it's he's legit funny.
He's hilarious.
And I love his. I do. I love his Comic-Con song.
Yeah. I love that.
I'm selling bootleg hentai at my booth at Comic-Con. Where the Harry Potter and Twihard minions go at it like they're Israelis and Palestinians. Bat fans keep nukes for Joel Schumacher handy. Aside from that, they're all real one happy family.
I love that. I love that video.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it after we're done, actually.
Girls. Girls in underwear, super suits, fishnet stockings, go-go boots, parading around for kids to scare, but it's cosplay so we don't care. Hey! Come. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I love. Yeah, I love the songs for
Yeah.
Yeah. Why hasn't uploaded a video since 2016?
Yeah, I miss him.
I maybe I get he's busy, but
Yeah.
I wish he would actually at least address saying, "Oh, I can't do this anymore," but he's just like he just stopped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a but yeah, well, back to old. I would love to talk about Random Guy, but
Yeah.
I guess we gotta finish talking about Ultimate.
Actually.
Ultimately garbage.
Yeah.
Ultimate garbage man.
Yeah.
Actually,
on the subject of Random Guy, do you think he took all the action figures, put them in the trash can, and then walked down the street to raindrops keep falling on my head?
Well, yeah. I once did that. It was an interesting. I once put my suit and my Spider-Man mask and my Gryffindor tie, and I put them in the trash can. I walked down the street, and I took a hike, and then all of a sudden, movie posters began doing terrorist attacks in New York City, and I realized I had to get my critiquing power back, and so I did it by I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, anyway. Actually, did you know that for my Amazing Spider-Man 2 review, I'd actually planned out I'd actually planned like I actually planned like this big epic thing where like I go to hell. It's like I had written an entire storyline to accompany my Amazing Spider-Man 2 review. Like I went to hell and I fought an evil monster, and like it was like I had like a good like 20 pages of script or something. But the reason I was like I got so busy around that time. I just did the. I mean, the review it would have been sort of tied into the review as my Amazing Spider-Man 2 review as you saw it. But yeah, it was I don't know. Would you like to know it?
Yeah.
Or okay. Well, basically, it was like okay, I would do the review, but at the end, some sinister creeping monster that you only saw in the shadows would come up and remind me that when I first saw it, I really liked it.
I remember when I first saw it, I really liked it too.
Yeah,
I think Nathan
so
did as well.
Really? Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and I would just be like, and I would like it would just be this like storyline tying in, and it would kind of be like inspired by that episode of my one of my favorite episode of the first season of Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Intervention.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of like inspired by that, and it would have like shown my origin as a film critic.
That'd have been perfect.
Yeah, I should have done it, but
Oh well.
I was but I was like I was I was like releasing like one review a day, and I was like and then I saw Homecoming, and I just got so down that I couldn't finish it. So
thanks, Homecoming.
Yeah.
It's all Homecoming's fault.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. It's Homecoming's fault. But we're blaming. Yeah, we're blaming me not being able to finish doing a movie review about a film I hate on a film that's not quite as bad. How about that? But yeah. And after like the second season, I only saw like occasional episodes of Spectacular Spider-Man. I came in when they were doing the oh yeah, they did Agent Venom.
And they did.
Yeah, and the thing is, Flash Thompson was such a nothing. After Spectacular just made him such an interesting, layered, unique character. Like Flash Thompson was just your generic bully.
Yeah.
That's all he was. There was nothing into him, and then they made him Agent Venom. Like seriously, if any version of Flash Thompson should be Agent Venom, it's the one from Spectacular, because that would actually work.
Yeah. Because they actually developed him.
Yeah, exactly. I did. In season 3, I did come back for the Spider-Verse episodes.
Yeah, how are they?
Okay. First there was one with what they did. I did like how they changed up the animation styles. Like he went and met more Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, okay.
Oh, speaking of 29, even though it's like 4 years off, do I think would be a great song to use in a Spider-Man 2099 movie?
What?
That the ELO song, Yours Truly, 2095.
Ah, good one. They could rename it Spider-Man 2095.
Yeah, just for the sake of using that song in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like very interesting in CGI. And then he also met Spider-Ham.
Oh, okay.
And he met Spider-Girl.
Which one? Which Spider-Girl?
It wasn't like his daughter or anything. It was a version where it's just him as a female.
Oh,
so it was basically Jessica Drew of. Yeah, it was Jessica Drew, like his clone version.
Okay.
It was so okay, a little bit more for like the comics, oh yeah, and he met Spider-Ham.
Yeah.
And he got into the Marvel Noir universe. This is all really cool stuff, and
yeah,
it's and I think it worked just because it was cool. You know,
it was a novelty.
Yeah, it was a novelty of it.
Yeah.
And he also met Spider Knight from Medieval.
Okay.
And then he met Miles Morales.
Okay. Apparently he was voiced by Donald Glover in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donald Glover, I think, would have been a pretty good Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I mean, Just imagine if he had been cast. I'm not talking about as Miles Morales, but as Peter Parker instead of Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. See, that's what kind of bugs me is when Donald Glover, apparently, I don't actually know if this is true or not, but I heard that the reason they came up with Miles Morales is because Donald Glover wanted to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I was like, why can't we just have a black Peter Parker?
Well, I say why? I mean, no, I mean like I like Miles Morales, and I think it's good that they made their own character instead of just like rebooting the Marvel universe and making Peter Parker black.
No, I meant for the movies. Like if they cast him in the movie.
Yeah, I meant in the movie. I'm all for it, but like, you know, actually, you know, Spider-Man being white doesn't have any effect on him, I would say.
Yeah.
Because you know, he's a poor kid. Well, maybe I'm being racist. he's a poor kid from Queens, which is a very diverse place. So if they did decide to change him and make him African American, it would still work. It's not like Batman, where, you know, he's basically, you know, born into a family that's been rich for like, you know, hundreds of years. In which case, the story of how, you know, a African American was a billionaire in the 1800s is a way more interesting story than Batman.
Yeah. Or as Movie Bob put it.
Yeah, that I took that from Movie
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah. I like the way he says it. Is so all of a sudden I'm more interested in Thomas Wayne's life story than his weirdo kid with the bat fetish.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm okay with a Spider-Man is a character where it would work just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really change things up. If he is black, it doesn't really fundamentally change the character.
No.
Just, but there are like, I don't really care if like, you know, you change the ethnicity of a character for a show or something. I do have a problem. I do have a problem with the death of the redheads. All the redheads are being turned into African Americans. Have you noticed?
Oh, okay.
Wally West, Jimmy Olsen, Mary.
Wait, Jimmy Olsen?
MJ, whatever.
Oh, right, yeah, Supergirl. Forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, in Supergirl, he's become Guardian.
He wasn't really even Jimmy Olsen in that show.
Yeah.
He was just kind of like, I think Jimmy Olsen being African American is just fine. It works just fine, unless you want to make him like a sexy black man. Yeah, I'm Jimmy Olsen, yo.
Yeah.
I'm being racist. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry. I hope no one listening was offended by that.
I'll put a disclaimer at the start of the video.
Yeah. That's what you got to do these days.
Yeah. What's kind of funny is that Peter Parker is actually a lot like Jimmy Olsen. So you could essentially say Spider-Man is what if Jimmy Olsen was the superhero.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's a photographer.
Yeah, he's even a photographer.
Yeah,
Who gets shouted at by his boss.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wait. Then is Clark Kent like Ben Urich? And
yeah. Wait, who's Lois Lane then? Betty Brant?
Betty Brant? Yeah. Wait.
Actually, I just had a thought in my Spider-Man series when he works at the Daily Bugle. Ned Lee and Betty Brant are gonna be like Clark Kent and Lois Lane now. I've just decided that.
Oh, okay. In your series? Okay.
Fuck it.
I have Betty's still in my okay, I'm not gonna. Okay, actually, that's a spoiler. Maybe. Yeah, I'll keep it to myself. But if you want to know, DM me later, and I'll tell you.
Right.
But the thing is, Yeah, so I thought but I was like, it's only the novelty, and that's the only really reason you should watch the show. I mean,
Yeah.
there should be a reason to do something besides just, oh, it's neat, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's so dumb because, like, it's like the entire show schedule is based around, oh, the Ant-Man movie's coming out, we gotta do Ant-Man, an Ant-Man episode. We on a episode with
Yeah.
We need to do an episode of the Avengers because Avengers coming out. Guardians of the Galaxy, got to do them again. Do them at this time. Oh yeah, there was an animated crossover with a Disney live action show. Did you know about that?
No, I did not know about that.
Yeah, and an animated crossover with Jessie. What is that about? Okay.
It's about someone named Jessie.
Jessie is an American sitcom that originally produced on Disney Channel. The series was created and executive produced by... No, okay. Debbie Ryan stars as Jessie Prescott, a small-town Texas girl who moves to New York City to try and become an actress, but instead she becomes a nanny to a high-profile couple's 4 children.
What? Why should this be crossing over with Spider-Man? Oh, they're both in New York. They should cross over.
At first, when I was reading this, I was like, when I read a small town Texas girl, I was like, wait, is this set in Texas?
Just a small town girl.
Just a small town girl, born and raised the lonely world. They took the midnight train going anywhere.
Actually, wait a minute.
Wait, Spider-Man! Just a city boy, bitten by a radioactive spider. He took the midnight train, trying to defeat the octopus.
Actually, no, what he said.
Don't stop believing that we'll finally have a good Spider-Man show again someday, but the studios are all terrible people.
That was a beautiful rendition of that song. Thank you, Castleman.
I hope Journey doesn't try to copyright this. Copyright strike! I own that song!
Actually, I just figured out something. Is Zendaya in that show? Because
What?
there's a connection. Oh.
No. Zendaya was in Step It Up. Wait, was
Well, step it up.
I'll have to check. Zendaya. Okay. Yeah, it was in Shake It Up. Let me find it. Okay. It was about okay, it was about people who worked at a milkshake place.
What? Why would anyone want to watch that?
No, I'm just joking. It's about dancing. So why would anyone want that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually heard people saying that that our co-star on that show, Bella Thorne, should play MJ because she's a redhead.
Okay.
Actually, let me look at her.
Let me look at it.
I can see it, kinda. She's hot, so I guess that's one qualification knocked off. I don't know if she's good though. So
Yeah, I don't think.
I've never seen one episode of Shake It Up. My Disney Channel show was The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Does Earth's Mightiest Heroes count? Because that was the only show that I liked that I watched on that channel.
No, actually, that's Disney XD.
Okay. Wait, Ultimate Spider-Man is Disney XD
Disney,
too.
yeah. Disney Channel is like Disney for girls. Disney XD is like cool because it's for guys. It's totally radical, yo.
Oh.
You know, because they have XD in the title, which is an emoji.
Ugh.
Wait, what are other Wait, is iCarly a Disney Channel? Because am I admitting that I used to watch that? I'm sorry.
I don't know what that is, so you're fine.
It's the show about this girl who starts a web show.
Okay. Can't we just watch a web show instead?
It was like super popular. Ran for like 7 seasons.
Jesus.
It's Nickelodeon. Yeah, Nickelodeon. Wow, we got off track, yo. We went from talking about Ultimate Spider-Man to iCarly.
So,
the main reason I watched iCarly because one of the characters was like a nerd who was kind of like Peter Parker.
Okay. Why were you trying to see if he could play him? The actor.
What?
The actor that played that nerd on that show. Were you curious to see if he could play him?
Okay. Peter. I don't know. I just thought he was. Generically, I thought he was a little bit like Peter Parker, and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
The problem with the show is that they ended up putting him with this really abusive woman.
Oh.
Like who constantly assaulted him.
Oh.
It's not a healthy relationship.
No, it isn't.
It's basically an abusive relationship played off for laughs, and I did not like that.
What?
Yeah. This woman is this other girl's okay. It's like okay, these 2 girls. It's like the girl who does the web show, and she's all nice and stuff. But then she has like this constantly abusive friend who's constantly threatened. She's beating him up. Okay. And then for some reason a bunch of fans were like saying they should get together, and they ended up, and I think I stopped watching the show eventually. I think they did, and it's dumb because one of the big things was that he had like a thing for like the other girl who's very nice to him. So it's like Peter Parker, but instead of ending up with like Gwen Stacy, he ends up with Sally Alvril.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. That describes it perfectly. Only Sally Alvril is like the worst. Only Sally Alvril, if he had blown up next to the the bus, in that episode, she would have laughed. That describes that character.
Wow. So she's worse than Sally Averill.
Yeah, she's a legit psychopath. She's like and she has like super strength or something. It's ridiculous. She's like, yeah. It's a dumb show. I don't know. Don't ask why I was watching it. I think it was like really popular at the time. With all the cool kids, I just kind of watched it. I was just like, I liked him because he was cool. He was nice, kind of nerdy guy, and
You watched it for that one guy.
Yeah. He reminded me of Peter Parker, and yeah.
Yeah, I remember like when I was in primary school, like all the kids were telling me to watch Twilight, and I never got around to it. And then when I started like watching movie critics, and they were all telling me how bad it was, I was like, I am so glad I never watched it.
I've seen 20 minutes of Twilight, and I already of the first one. That's supposed to be the best one, and I already know enough that it's one of my least favorite films of all time. I didn't need to watch any more of it. I was comatose.
Wow.
I haven't seen 50 Shades of Grey. Like, should I?
Me neither.
We should do a commentary.
Yeah. From Scott Pilgrim to 50 Shades of Grey.
From Kirsten Dunst's nipples to Ned watching porn. Remember that?
Yeah, the porn
teaser for our Valentine's Day special. Yeah, so back to Ultimate Spider-Man. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
so
what we were talking
the
about.
episode where they teamed up with Jessie was called Halloween Night at the Museum, and I'll read this. In an animated crossover of Jessie Prescott, Emma Ross, Luke Ross, Ravi Ross, Zuri Ross, and Ravi's pet, Asian water monitor, Mrs. Kipling. What's a water monitor?
What? What?
Let me read this again. In an animated crossover of Jessie Prescott, Emma Ross, Luke Ross, Ravi Ross, Zuri Ross, and Ravi's pet, Asian water monitor, Mrs. Kipling.
Everyone's last name is Ross.
It's a large lizard.
Oh.
That's what a water monitor is.
Right.
Visit a museum on Halloween. Jessie finds a medieval sword coveted by Morgan Le Fay while unknowingly freeing her from her imprisonment. Jessie and Spider-Man work together to save Halloween and the world from the evil plans of Le Fay's hitchman Jack-o'-lantern, which is...
Oh, man.
At least they fought... Yeah, so Spider-Man has to fight Morgan Le Fay, a mystical enchantress with magical powers, with only the help of just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere and helped Spider-Man fight off a sorceress who was about to destroy the world.
I really hope Journey does a re-recording of that song with your lyrics.
Okay. Yeah. So. Did you see the Phineas and Ferb? Did you hear of the Phineas and Ferb Marvel crossover that had Spider-Man in it?
No, I did not.
Yeah, well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I like that. I mean, that's a Disney crossover of a Disney show that's actually pretty. I actually had a good time with. So yeah, it's not.
How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see a single episode. I didn't see a single episode of Ultimate Spider-Man Season 4. So I'm just going through the episode list and seeing what they did.
I think I saw a clip where they were fighting an evil Peter Parker.
Did you know Season 4 did nothing but like 3-parters and 4-parters and 3-parters and...
Jesus.
Yeah. And did you know that they started off the show by saying, we're not going to have anything serialized. We're going to... Yeah, they said that.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, okay, well, that's...
Spider-Man works better when serialized anyway, so, you know.
Okay, well, now I'm trying to figure out more stuff about this Jessie show that for some reason teamed up with Spider-Man. The series follows Jessie Prescott, a young woman from a small town with big dreams, who, rebelling against her strict father, decides to leave the military base in Texas where she grew up and moves to New York City. She accepts a job as a nanny and moves into a multi-million-dollar penthouse on the Upper West Side with the wealthy Ross
How did she
families.
afford the penthouse?
What?
How did she afford the penthouse?
No. The nanny she works for. No, she's a nanny for
Right.
A family, and they have the penthouse.
Right.
Which and the family includes jet setting. What does jet setting mean?
I don't know.
Let me look. In journalism, jet set was a term for an international social group of wealthy people who traveled the world to participate in social activities unavailable to ordinary people.
Alright.
Okay, so they're a bunch of rich snobs. Which includes jet-setting parents Morgan and Christina and their 4 rambunctious children. Emma Ross... Okay, Emma, Luke, Ravi, and and they're all different ethnicities.
Okay.
What was the mother doing?
She's a slut.
Okay, let's pack as much objectionable material. Let's see here. Slut shaming, racism. What else can we put in here? Along with the family pet, Mr. Kipling, a 7-foot Asian water monitor.
What?
Yeah, that's the pet that I mentioned earlier. That was. But a big reveal of the show was that was later revealed to be a female. With a whole new world of experiences open to her, Jessie embarks on new adventures in the big city as she goes to rely on the love and support of the children in her care. Assisting her are Bertram, Kevin Chamberlain, the family's lazy and sarcastic butler, and Tony, the building's 20-year-old doorman. Fat and sarcastic, yo.
Oh, Jesus. This is a real show that exists.
That teamed up with Spider-Man.
Is she going to team up with the Guardians of the Galaxy next?
Jesus. The Avengers are going to induct her into their ranks.
She'll be an Avenger. She's going to be in Infinity War.
Yeah.
She'll be the one to defeat Thanos.
She's gonna team up with Rey in Star Wars: The Last Jedi. She's gonna be she's gonna be the new and as a big surprise, she'll be revealed to have Force powers, and she'll single-handedly take down Snoke.
She will they'll build
she'll be the new Mary Sue she'll be so much of a big Mary Sue that no one will even think second of Rey anymore.
She will they'll build another Starkiller base in episode 9, and it will end with Jessie destroying Starkiller base by herself.
Oh,
she'll use the Force to crush it.
The show had it ran for 100 episodes.
How?
I don't know. There's a controversy subheading on the show's Wikipedia page.
Ooh, what's the controversy?
Disney Channel did not broadcast Quitting Cold Koala on its originally scheduled date of May 17, 2013, and showed a rerun of Kids Don't Want to Be Shunned instead. The episode did, however, appear on the Disney Channel website, Watch Disney Channel, and Disney Channel On Demand. Wait, what's controversial in this?
Yeah.
On Facebook, Disney Channel announced, "We are removing this particular episode from regular programming schedule and re-evaluate its references to gluten restrictions in the character's diet." What? There was the controversy about the show is about gluten in a diet. And it's called Quitting Cold Koala. It had an Indian adaptation called Oh Yay Jassy.
Wow.
I'm gonna look up this. I know this is way off topic, but we finished talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. We gotta do this. Okay, I'm just gonna read off some of the episode titles they have. The Talented Mr. Kipling, talking about the lizard. Zombie Tea Party 5. Creepy Connie Comes a Calling. Creepy Connie Comes a Calling. Oh my gosh! There's a title of the episode of the show called Star Wars. Oh, I was just joking about the that thing.
What happens in the Star Wars episode?
Okay. Celebrity actor Jordan Taylor comes to stay at the Ross household. Jesse and Emma fight for his affection while Luke and Zuri make prank phone calls on his phone. Bertram pretends to work while Morgan Ross is in town. Even though Morgan tells everyone not to tell people that Jordan is staying at the Ross pit house, Emma tries to ruin Jesse's date with Jordan, disobeying her father's orders.
But how is that related to Star Wars?
No idea. There's an episode called Romancing the Crone. There's an episode called Glue Done It, A Sticky Situation.
Fuck's sake.
It's about how Jesse's dying from the radioactive sperm from Spider-Man.
Radioactive spider sperm.
Spider sperm, radioactive Spider-Man. Spider there. Wait, what was this? Okay, let me read the actual. When Mrs. Chesterfield's hands get stuck to her head because her hair gel is switched with glue, she accuses all of the Ross children. Meanwhile, Tony and Jesse attempt to go on a date, but all of the chaos, they miss their dinner reservation, movie, and carriage ride. At the end, Jesse apologizes to Tony for missing their first date. What? What is that? What? What? Ravi plays... Jeez, this looks so bad.
I think the title of this podcast should be called Jesse and Spider-Man.
I'm sorry. I'm just kind of baffled that this. Oh, I found this description for the gluten episode. Quitting cult. This was controversial. So controversial that Disney took it off the air.
Okay.
Kenny the koala has always been there for Luke during countless days and nights, until one day his obsession crosses the line. Luke must make the biggest decision of his life. Can he forgive up Kenny or embrace until the end of his days? Meanwhile, Stuart is devastated that Zuri constantly tries avoiding him, and he devises a plan to make her jealous by flirting with Emma instead, despite Emma's annoyance. Convinced enough, Zuri does become jealous and pleads with him to get over Emma. Back on the terrace, Kenny accidentally slips out of Jesse's hands as he gets torn up by a car and a horse, causing Luke to go into deep shock while accusing Jesse for this mess. Near the end, Luke, saddened by Kenny's sudden fall, reveals why Kenny is so important to him, and that he was his only family until Morgan and Christina brought him to the city of New York. Zuri apologizes for taunting Luke all this time, and they have a brief embrace. Stuart successfully fixes Kenny, as Luke thanks him, and Ravi's saving his best friend from a near-death experience.
Controversy. Yeah. We went from racism to this.
Oh, at the end of the show, Jessie becomes a successful actress and moves to Hollywood.
Good for her.
As the series ends, Jesse runs into Tony, who had left his doorman job and moved to Hollywood himself to become a security guard for the film studio. And the Ross children followed her to Hollywood when they realized they still need her. Oh, how sweet. Let's get to the star of the show. And
eventually,
let's talk about Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Okay, first off, it's story time. Time for me to tell the story of me seeing this thing. I was on a youth pilgrimage thing to New York City, or it wasn't a pilgrimage, it was was like a mission trip, and we did there and like did like some service work and occasional stuff, just some stuff like that. But
Yeah.
we also did a bunch of just touring New York City. New York's a pretty. It's a cool place. I had a lot of fun going there.
I really want to go there.
Oh, it's great. But one of the things that happened was we got to go see a Broadway show, and as long as there were enough people to go as a group, you got to be in your own. You got to be in your own like. As long as there are enough people, you couldn't like go to it by yourself,
Okay.
So my brother went to go see who was on that trip. He went to go see The Lion King. Some people went to go see War Horse. Others went to see Mary Poppins, I think.
Okay.
I was in the Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark group. Now, if you don't know what Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, it is the infamous Spider-Man musical that was around the news, a few days ago. It was So Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark is what was that? What? Oh, no, nothing. Okay. Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark was the musical, and I'm a fan of musicals. I enjoy. They get a lot of hate, but I
like them, yeah.
Yeah, I can have a lot of fun with. So, for example, I loved La La Land last year. So I go see this, and first off, I don't think I was like 12, and I didn't even have a chaperone. It was just me and like two girls, and we just went to go see it. That sounds wrong, but
yeah, it does.
they were both like 16 too, and I was 12. That sounds really wrong, right?
Yeah.
I was sexually harassed. I'll never recover. No, it was fine. They're cool. But yeah. Well, anyway, so I went to go see it, and all right, I'm going. Okay, it's been a while, so it's hard to review this and go over it without like not doing it right. Okay, it's okay. First off, I saw it. I didn't see it quite when it was opening, so it wasn't like So there's a couple changes in the final version that I didn't quite that I didn't get to experience. I think I saw it like maybe a week before official opening, so I think it was still technically a preview.
Okay.
But the show starts off with Peter giving a book report about the Greek goddess Arachne.
Because spiders, I guess.
Yeah. I guess you remember how in the first, if anyone has read Ultimate Spider-Man, in the very first issue, it starts open with Norman Osborn telling about the story of Arachne. So basically that.
Right. Okay.
So Peter Parker sings about Arachne. Yeah, the book report is a song. And then as Peter gives his book report, Arachne, who is a major character in the show, she descends to the stage and tells the audience her story in another musical number. So basic story. Thousands of years, she was in Greek mythology, Arachne was a skilled weaver who became all conceited and boasted that she was greater than Athena, and then Athena got really pissed and turned her into a spider.
Right.
So so that whole thing. So I've read a bunch of Spider-Man comics, and Arachne has never been a major character.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what does this have to do with Spider-Man?
Okay, and then, they have Flash Thompson in there, And so after Peter gives his book report, Flash Thompson and his gang begins singing around Peter a song called "Bullying by Numbers," and and then after this, there was actually a really good song because it was like Peter and Mary Jane walking home from school, like separately, but they're each singing about, their lives, and they're singing about, and it's interesting how the parallels sync up because Peter hates school, but when he comes home, he has a loving family, and Mary Jane actually is able to be in school, but when she comes home, she has an abusive father, and the show and the musical actually goes into this pretty well, and the song is actually kind of nice, it's like and it's actually, pretty good commentary on how Peter, is like, oh, life is so terrible, but he really wasn't appreciating how he had those loving people at home. And, it doesn't emphasize when Uncle Ben dies, it does actually emphasize it pretty well because, you see how, in contrast with Mary Jane's life, Peter did have a good, family deal with Uncle Ben. And so I actually kind of like that. And yes,
that does sound
this
like
has Uncle Ben, unlike Homecoming. So it's already doing something better than Homecoming.
Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark is better than Homecoming. That's the
title. I had a better time. Like, when I was walking out of this thing, I was, like, ecstatic. I was having so much fun. Like, and like the little thing that our priest gave. Our priest gave a sermon about it when we got home, and he specifically mentioned me as like, we got to see pure joy when we saw Spider-Man when we saw Jody walking out of the Spider-Man musical. Yeah, I was like jumping about. I was having so much fun. So yeah, yeah, and then and I was like, yeah, so the new wait, should I guess I should. What's an example from that song? And I can see an open door, and I can live like this no more. I can live like this. No, I don't know. The song is called No More. No More. But, yeah. So,
No More.
Yeah, and so I thought that was... yeah. And then after then the next day, they go to Oscorp, and where Norman Osborn and his wife Emily. Harry Osborn is not in this version, but Emily is actually a character. She has lines and stuff.
How about that?
Which is
she the Green Goblin?
And then they
is she the Green Goblin?
What? No. Oh yeah, no. Well, what happens is, Emily's, they sing a song about what they hope to accomplish with their genetic research.
Okay.
It's like, DIY World, I think is the name of the song. Do it yourself. Then the Osborns, like, put the whole, display up, and then a dangerously genetically altered spider bites Peter. And you get that. And then we get a musical number of Peter discovering his powers called Bouncing Off the Walls. And in it, he's in his bedroom and he's literally bouncing off the walls. And he's like, bouncing off the walls. And he's just like, just jumping back and forth. And like, the walls are all bouncy and he's being sprung back and forth. And it's really... The set design for this show was just weird. Like, nothing was like... It was like all out of... The origin here is actually very much like the Rainbow.
Okay.
But, after seeing Flash show off Mary Jane his new car, Peter decides to buy a car to impress her. He enters a wrestling tournament, and he defeats champion Bonesaw McGraw for the grand... But would you like to know who was Bonesaw McGraw?
Who?
He wasn't an actor. He was a blow-up doll.
Why?
Someone was standing behind this big blow-up doll and waving him back and forth.
What?
And then Peter punched the blow-up doll. Yeah.
They couldn't be asked getting an actor?
No. They just got a big blow-up doll. It looked so dumb. Basically, like he looked like one of those things that kids watch. Yeah, like one of those little big puppet things.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And then there's a scene where where Flash's car is being carjacked, and Flash is like, Flash is powerless and then all of a sudden and Peter could have saved it, but Peter didn't. So, and then right afterwards, the carjacker shoots Uncle Ben.
Wait, hang on. So Peter doesn't stop the carjacker from stealing Flash's car?
Yes.
Why does he shoot Uncle Ben?
I assume he like, well, we don't see the scene of him being shot. I assume he drove to Peter's house and like tried to rob it, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. But at least they had Uncle Ben being killed. So we get the motivation for him being Spider-Man, Yeah, so and then Peter then Peter sings the big song about great power with great responsibility called Rise Above. When the ones who run the firehouse are the ones who start the fire, and the lawless make the laws, and every preacher is a liar, and the ones who damn the innocent, well, they own the nightly news and front page. The old man said to me, it's not who but what you know, and knowledge isn't wisdom without control. Still to be the changes that you want to see, they come slow, I know. And you can rise above, and rise above, and you can rise above yourself. So and then Arachne comes down from like the sky or something, and like tells Peter and it like gives him a reason, like the blue of victims, the blood that victims shed, you shall take. Like, actually, let me find this. This is the song. Yeah, so basically they have this song, and like Peter's like, oh, Uncle Ben's dying, and then Arachne comes down from like the sky or something, and okay. You can rise. So yeah, basically that's how it works. So well, I guess that's reasoning for him to do that or something.
I couldn't actually make out the lyrics very well, so.
Oh, you couldn't? Sorry. But then okay, Spider-Man begins fighting criminals, and do you remember the criminals that he fights in the thing? Tombstone, Hammerhead, and the Kingpin.
Right.
Yeah. But they're just like bank robbers.
What? That's stupid.
Yeah, they're like, and they're not just like regular people. They're like these big like monster things. No, like they're these weird people with like huge heads, like really really big heads.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, and then when Norman Osborn thinks that Spider-Man like stole his research, because he's like, oh, Spider-Man, this is the sort of thing I would have done, and then Viper like comes and tells him to accelerate their project or something.
Who's Viper?
I don't know. Is it something from the comics? It's just like, for a second I thought it was like S.H.I.E.L.D., but it wasn't. Viper comic. Well, it's a comic book character, is it? Oh, it's that
I
green.
remember.
Wait. It's that. I think it's that weird green lady from the Wolverine, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just about to say, why is she in a Spider-Man musical?
She wasn't. It was like an army corporation.
Right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. They like push Norman Osborn into accelerating his research.
Right.
And then Norman Osborn goes insane and mutates into the Green Goblin.
Right.
But it's not like and it's like, okay, he's mutated and he is the Green Goblin, but it's not like what do you call it? The big monster goblin. He looks more like the regular he looks more like the regular 616 goblin, only he's like I don't know.
I don't like him when he's physically mutated.
Yeah.
I like him to put on costume.
Then we get the most insane dance number ever, and this is where it gets crazy, alright?
Okay.
The Green Goblin comes up with a plan to genetically alter other humans as he did himself, and we get a musical number called A Freak Like Me Needs Company. It's like a big dance number.
Okay.
He kidnaps his former employees from Oscorp
and
forces them into becoming 6 supervillains. And
6.
Yeah. So basically, okay, let me just break all this down. All right, this gets crazy. First of all, the song. There's a lyrics in the song like where Green Goblin sings, "I got a crew of party animal mutants on my side. Freak like me needs company." Like, yeah, the Green Goblin sings that.
Jesus.
But let me just go through who is in this. Okay, Electro is one of the people that mutated, which that kind of works, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Electro.
Yeah, I like him.
A lizard.
Right.
Lizard is in the Sinister Six. But a lizard is okay, he's like this big puppet, the lizard. And he has and you can very clearly see someone behind him. And it looks just really, really bad. He looks like he has 2 heads. Okay. Okay, and next is Craven the Hunter.
Okay.
He mutates somebody into Craven the Hunter. This isn't like okay, it's
not like Spectacular.
Yeah, no, it's not like Spectacular. He looks like Craven the Hunter, like originally, like as he originally appears. He's not like a mutated version of Craven the Hunter. He's just like put somebody in like the thing, and it comes out with a new costume.
They mutated the clothes. That's what they did.
Yeah. Let me look up a photo of these guys so I can describe it better. All right. And by the way, all of these people, yeah, and they all have like fake heads. Like none of them like are just like people in costumes. They all like besides Green Goblin. I mean, they all are people in costumes, but they're all like wearing weird heads, like weird, masks or something.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Even Craven.
What?
Even
Craven.
Craven.
Yeah,
okay.
They're all wearing weird masks. And those 3 are people who kind of make sense being in the Sinister Six, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bear with me a little more. Swarm. Do you know who Swarm is?
No.
It's a swarm of killer bees, and that's the thing. That's bees.
What?
My God. Yeah, a swarm, and no, and
Wait.
it's no, and the character was just this big person in a bumblebee costume with little like wires sticking out from it all ends and like little bees on the end. And they whenever they walked around, they like waved back and forth. It looked so stupid. It looked ridiculous. Swarm. I mean, there's so many other characters you could have done that would have been so much easier to do. Hell, Doctor Octopus would have been easier to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And next, Carnage. Carnage is in the Sinister Six.
Okay.
But he's not like a symbiote. He's this being made out of living blood. He's like it's like you just like see these people being thrown in the blender and like out comes like weird things, and okay, Carnage comes out and he's made out of living blood, and he's like, yeah.
That's just dumb.
Yeah. Okay, but that's not all of these are, but these 5 are at least characters from the comics.
Yeah.
The 6th member of the Sinister Six in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
Okay.
Is called Swiss Miss.
What?
She's like a human Swiss Army knife. And not like in the good way, like in that movie Swiss Army Man, which I loved. No, it's like this for some reason, genetic mutations turned her into a Swiss Army knife. Like she has like knives all over her or something. I think that's like, I think you should, that's more like Tony Stark, isn't it? Like, huh?
Yeah.
So, and this is a character they completely created. Like, could they? I mean, when you get the rights to Spider-Man, like, this confused me. Like, you have to like buy the rights to all other characters you're gonna use. Is that the thing? Where like, it was like, okay, we have to have the Green Goblin, his main villain. Oh, Electro, Kraven the Hunter, Lizard, and Swarm and Carnage are on wholesale. Let's get them too. Oh, but all the other characters in the Sinister Six, they're too much.
Even characters as obscure as Hydra Man.
Yeah. How? But what can we do? We can't have the Sinister Five. We got to make up our own supervillain. Okay. Okay. What is the supervillain's powers going to be? Just happens to be on the executives table. There is a Swiss Army knife. one of the executives picks up the knife and just looks intensely at the other executive, storyboard or whatever, and like the other one is, and the other storyboarder is like, brilliant. And she's a female Swiss Army knife, and that's why she's called Swiss Miss. Yeah.
All right then.
And then after this, we had like a scene where like, actually kind of nice, pretty song where like Mary Jane tells Peter her love for him has grown, and it's called "If the World Should End," but the lyrics are weird because it's like, if the world should end, I wouldn't care at all because I love you. Not the I love you part, that's not in there, I don't think. Where is it? No. But yeah. So, and then the Goblin and the Sinister Six attack, go on a rampage. And we get another song, a different song.
Another one?
This song. Well, yeah. There's lots of songs. It's a musical. Okay. And okay. And like the lyrics, I swear it sounds like this. Soon come fart, soon all the farts come riding out. Unseen fizz visions that you cannot banish. Something like that. Wait, let me. Whatever. Well, it has dumb lyrics. That's the problem. The songs are actually kind of fun to listen to, but they have really dumb lyrics that are funny. Yeah. And after the Sinister, and then they have a scene where Spider-Man fights the Sinister Six, and it's real, and he fights them really easily. All he does, he just like swings by and puts a web over them. He doesn't like fight them. He just like. It's like, oh no, the Sinister Six, and then like it just shows Spider-Man one by one just swinging by and dropping a net on the guy. and that's
to be the easiest takedown ever.
Yeah, and then the Green Goblin, and then there's this like really long scene where the Green Goblin is put on hold at the Daily Bugle. And it was hilarious. I remember. It was like this scene where it's like, I am the Green Goblin. I will. Oh, now you decide to work. But let me see if I can find these lyrics that are just really weird. I mean, I don't think it's what they're saying, but it's all about what they sound like they're saying. Oh, and plus the costume for this thing, it's basically the. Wait, okay. Come farts that you shall not banish. Secret visions. I don't even know what they're saying. Crawling shapes now come riding out. Cast this shadow over this human route. What? I mean, after the thing that sounds like they're saying farts, crawling shapes now come riding out. You mean poop? Yeah, well anyway. I don't even know. I don't even want to look up the lyrics for that song because I have no idea. The person who did the music for this is Bono. You know, the guy with U2. You know who that? You know what U2 is?
No, I don't know who that is.
U2? You don't know the band U2?
No.
Okay. Actually, one of my favorite. Did you ever you seen Smallville, right?
A couple episodes from season 1, yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a season 1 episode. Have you ever heard the song "Beautiful Day"?
Not sure. I don't think so.
Okay, it was like, okay, well, I think that's the U2's most popular song or something. But well, anyway, they did the music for the song, and that's why I brought that up. So, whatever.
Right. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Then like after he fights the Sinister Six, Arachne comes to Peter in a vision and explains that she is his guardian, and along with the reminder that a hero is his destiny, he cannot escape it. Yeah, and and Peter misses the Mary Jane's opening night of her play, like in Spider-Man 2. Like it's interesting. I mean, the Raimi movies were a big influence on this, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the Spider-Man No More thing too. Like Spider-Man gives his costume to J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's like the first act is basically Spider-Man 1, the origin story, and then the second act is basically
Right.
Spider-Man 2, but with Green Goblin as the main villain and the Sinister Six, if that makes sense.
Right.
And a bunch of music with really bad lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Peter has a really nice song actually called "The Boy Falls from the Sky," and then he gets his costume back and goes after the Green Goblin. And then we get a scene where the Green Goblin sits at a piano on top of the Chrysler Building and plays the piano while he humorously boasts to the audience on his plan to destroy New York City. And then Peter, and then this was awesome. Peter fought. And then there's the big battle between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, and it just jumps all over the theater. Like, I mean, we're not just talking about on stage. Like, they had like these rigs set up all over the theater, and they had like Spider-Man like swinging around the theater with you. It was awesome. Like, Green Goblin is like flying about on his glider, and the wires are, you can't really see the wires, and it's just like so awesome, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the action, I haven't really talked about the action. You want to see it. It really was like seeing Spider-Man action just before your eyes. I mean, when it was done good, a lot of it was just kind of lazy, but when they tried, I guess they pulled out all the production they could for that final battle with the Green Goblin, because it was epic. Like, I mean, it's just like, I mean, forget 3D movies, man. It was amazing, and you know, and then the Green Goblin like fought, and then the Green Goblin webs, and then Spider-Man webs the Green Goblin to his piano, and the Green Goblin, not realizing this, thrusts the piano over the side of the Chrysler Building and drags him with him. Does that sound like anything to you? And then, you know, okay.
Sorry, you glitched out for a second there.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Wait, what was the last thing? What was the last thing I said?
I think the Green Goblin falling off the Chrysler Building.
Yeah. Does that sound like anything to you? But and then Spider-Man saves Mary Jane, and she tells him, "Oh, I know that you're Peter Parker." And,
How did she find out?
What?
How did she find out?
She guessed. What's the matter with that? I like that. I mean, it's more observant than Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, he does act completely different when he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, true. But and then and then you know they sing the big finale song, and that's the end. All right. So that was Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. The revised version, because before I was able to see the original version of Spider-Man Dark, there was a first version written by some crazy woman who didn't know anything about Spider-Man. Like, it was so insane and crazy, and the reviews were so scathingly negative that they had to like go to they went to a comic book writer and was like, "Hey, can you please fix our show?" And then like fired the crazy woman who had like just like written the most insane thing ever. I did not see this.
Why was she even hired in the first place?
I have no idea. She had directed The Lion King.
Oh,
musical.
Okay, good for her.
So I guess she was like, oh, really popular. They brought her in, and she just went insane with it. She's the reason there was Arachne in the other version. But yeah, pretty much the other version, they cut everything they could while still keeping as many sets as they could to save money, you know? Because because it was getting like scathing reviews, one critic said, "I would only recommend the first version to carrion feeding theater vultures." And the second version, I would, if I knew a precocious child of 10 years old or so, I would consider taking him to the new and improved version of Spider-Man. So yeah, the second version was something else, but the first version, oh my gosh, let me read you the thing. As the curtain rises, New York City is burning. Like,
okay.
The whole city, it's burning.
Okay.
Mary Jane Watson is seeing suspended, from the Spider-Man Brooklyn Bridge, and Spider-Man is running to save her. He is too late, as the Green Goblin, depicted as a comic book cutout, slashes the rope. As Mary Jane falls, Spider-Man makes a leap, and and tethered, frozen in a comic book panel snapshot. As citizens chant the emblem of the original version, and the boy falls from the sky. We are now in the present, where the geek chorus, Mrs. Arrow, Jimmy Six, Professor Cobwell, and Grim Hunter enters. They are in the process of writing the most extreme and ultimate Spider-Man story. So the first version, it's under the premise that the entire thing is a fan fiction. Mrs. Arrow contends that Peter Parker isn't actually the first virgin to become a spider. She begins to tell the story of Arachne as a pension. Yeah, so the entire thing, like during the story, we have like the geek chorus, like commenting on what's happening during the production. As depicted, okay. So he tells us Arachne again. Okay, only it's like these stupid people. The scene dissolves in the Queen's High School where Peter is presenting an oral report on Arachne. Oral. His questions prompt the teacher to assign the entire class a 10-page report, which they must work on over the weekend. As revenge, Flash Thompson and the other bullies, physically abuse. And then, you have the bullying theme song.
The theme song for the bullying.
Yeah. Bowling by numbers. And it's like, okay, yeah. And then, basically, the origin part is kind of the same. It's basically kind of the same. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And but the changes are when the spider bites Peter, all of a sudden the action is interrupted by the geek chorus, who argue why Peter was bitten. Some believe it was fate, some believe he was chosen by the spider, and some believe it was a case of him being in the spider's path.
What?
Or as in terms of the actual version of Spider-Man, it was an accident.
Yeah.
I think
that's like the whole point, is that it was an accident.
That's what Amazing Spider-Man messed up so badly.
Yeah.
Back in the story, Peter is discovering his new spider powers, climbing on the ceiling, shooting webs, and
bouncing on the walls.
Yeah, the bouncing off walls again. Yeah. Okay, and this is basically the same. Only.
Yeah.
Only in the original version, they didn't have someone stealing Flash's car, so Uncle Ben's death really isn't Peter's fault.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing about the Amazing Spider-Man 1. Is that Peter feels no guilt over Uncle Ben.
It's mainly about revenge, right?
Yeah, it's mainly about revenge, and then Captain Stacy gives him that lecture about vigilantism and justice.
Yeah. And Peter doesn't make his costume. Arachne gives it to him.
Okay.
And yeah, the rest of the first act is pretty much the same. No, wait. The Chrysler Building finale is at the... No, wait, I'm totally wrong. When he turned into... The Green Goblin dies at the end of the first act.
Okay.
Okay, so, the big Chrysler Building and Green Goblin dies. And... and... So basically, the entire story is done.
Yeah.
At the end of the first act.
Okay.
In Act 2. The geek chorus enters and informs the audience that Spider-Man has defeated his ultimate enemy, so their story is complete. Mrs. Arrow is convinced that they are not finished, because Spider-Man's real ultimate enemy should be unbeatable. So they introduce several villains. Yes, this is right. The geek chorus create the Sinister Six. And Mrs. Arrow creates Swiss Mitts on the spot. Mrs. Arrow is a real bitch. And stupid, because she's the one who brought in Arachne. Like, she's terrible. Throughout the supervillain parade, we also learn that Peter and MJ have formed a relationship. With all of this villains afoot, Peter's exhausted and not paying much attention to her or anything else in his life.
Okay.
And then Arachne sings a song called "Turn Off the Dark," and tells him she will says, "I will no longer be alone, and now there is another spider to share my darkness." She begins to weave illusions in his mind, and Peter can't tell the difference between the dream and reality when he wakes. MJ becomes completely fed up with Peter's constant lateness and disregard for her, and then she walks away. And that night he decides to abandon Spider-Man forever.
Okay.
And then, when Peter abandons Spider-Man, Arachne becomes enraged. She devises a plan to bring Spider-Man back by having all his former enemies descend on the city at once. The geek chorus interrupts, deciding the fact that they are all dead. Arachne's furies then take over the script writing. She kills the people writing the fan fiction. The fan fiction is so bad that it kills the people supposedly writing the fan fiction. Written by people writing this fan fiction. They knew how bad it was.
Jesus.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Arachne, and then the villains, and then she brings all the villains back to life because she can do that apparently. Like, I guess she's
okay.
God. And
wait, so being spider-like,
that Spider-Man does not appear. What?
So being spider-like means he can bring people back to life?
Yeah, so Arachne is upset that Spider-Man has not taken her bait, and she visits him in another dream where the two of them get married. When that does not work, she uses a headline in the Daily Bugle about 50 pairs of shoes stolen to weasel her way into the office of J. Jonah Jameson. Her furies steal the shoes for themselves and descend upon Jameson. Arachne convinces him to run a headline pronouncing the Spider-Man a needed hero, and he does. After enjoying the blacked out and his intimacy, MJ and Peter come to a standstill. Because of those dreams and the added pressure of needing Spider-Man, Peter doesn't think he can be good enough for MJ anymore. She assures him that she is all he needs in the world. On a path of soul-searching, he finds his inner hero and vanquishes the Sinister Six. Then Arachne kidnaps Mary Jane, and the geek chorus is revived. They argue about who Spider-Man's true nemesis is, the one he can never beat. And then Miss Arrow ensures that Spider-Man's true nemesis is Arachne. Shut the fuck up, Miss Arrow! Go to hell! Since she is an expert of weaving illusion. Back in the store, we see that Mrs. Arrow is right. Peter has trapped Peter in her giant web. MJ is suspended as a cartoon will die unless Peter pledges to be with Arachne to share her darkness forever. The song is called Love Me or Kill Me. They fight, and eventually Peter agrees to be with Arachne if it means saving MJ. Arachne has a sudden change of heart, realizing there was still humanity left in the Curse of the Spider. She finds her own humanity and spares MJ's life. Peter spares Peter of a life with her, as she knows he will always only love MJ and never truly be hers. But realizing his humanity, she has found her own and is released of her burden of darkness in the shadows. Peter walks as Arachne ascends into the heavens by the same piece of thread she used to take her life. Like, so basically, she goes up on her own noose that she killed herself earlier with. With a suit at the Daily Bugle, MJ sees Peter and finally realizes his secret. She agrees with him to stand by him as sirens begin wailing and Peter swings away.
Okay.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
This thing was just crazy. It's like, okay, let's read some of the
Yeah.
Let's read some of the reviews.
Ooh,
The
yeah.
show's first performance on November 28, 2010 garnered what was most like the most press coverage of a first preview in history. Reaction to the first preview described the musical as visually stunning despite technical glitches. By January 18, 2011, a reviewer reported there were no delays during the preview he saw. He praised the stunts and ballads that invoke the yearning grandeur of U2, though their more upbeat material tended to be nondescript. And then he felt the plot of the second tangled into tangled knots.
Okay.
Most of the major theater critics published reviews of the first version of February 7, 2011. All of them were strongly negative in tone. The reviews during the first review period are unusual. The critics decided that the ever-expanding preview period was so long and ticket prices were so high that they should not wait for the official opening. So, basically, the critics overrided the embargo. They're like, okay, forget this. We are going to release the reviews of how terrible this first version is.
Wow.
Announced in the New York Review of Books by classic scholar Daniel Morrison followed up the complaints of other critics that Tamer's attempt to graft the classical myth of Arachne onto the comic book story turned the show into a grotesque hybrid and overloaded the plot of two unrelated main villains in Arachne and Green Goblin.
Yeah.
And here's a quote. A crucial difference between the ancient and modern models of human to animal metamorphosis. For today's audience, sense transformations are liberating, literally empowering, where for the ancients they were more often not humiliations, punishments for inappropriate or overweening behavior. At the very heart of the Spider-Man disaster is the essential incompatibility of these two visions of physical transformation. The ancient and the modern, the redemptive and the punitive. Visions that Tamer tried here such futilely to reconcile. I'm just gonna go to the Spider-Man on Broadway. No superpowers needed to sniff out this stinker. New York. If you're going to send 65 million and not end up with the best musical of all time, I suppose there's a perverse distinction in being one of the worst. Mind you, I haven't seen every stinker ever produced, so I can't categorically confirm that Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark belongs in the darkest sub-basement of the American musical theater, but its application certainly seems to be in order. Was apparent after the 3 hours in the Foxwoods Theater, interrupted by the occasional burst of aerial distraction, is that director Julie Taymor of The Lion King left a few essential items after a lavish shopping list. 1. Coherent plot. 2. Tolerable music. 3. Workable sets. To be sure, Taymor has found something to send her superhero soaring above the audience, and yet the creature that most often spreads its wings in the Foxwoods is a turkey.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then the best one is this one by this guy called Ben Brantley. Says Spider-Man may rank across the worst Broadway musicals. In his review of the revised version, the one I saw. So this ascent is from jaw-dropping badness to mere mediocrity and step upward. Well, until last weekend, I would have recommended Spider-Man only to carrion-feasting theater vultures. Now, if I knew a less than precocious child of 10 or so, and I had several $100s to throw away, I would consider taking him to the new and improved Spider-Man. Yeah, so that was Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Yep. So, yeah. And I enjoyed the revised version when I saw it, but I would say, even as a dumb 12-year-old, I would have hated the original version. I feel safe in saying.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was yeah. So yeah, that's yeah. So. Gosh, this has gone on for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that was Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Would you have been willing to go see it? And if you had gotten the chance to go see it on Broadway, would you have?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm like such a huge Spider-Man fan that I'll do anything. I'll see anything related to Spider-Man
Yeah.
at any cost. You know, I guess that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obsessed with the character, so just like I'll
Yeah.
watch. I mean, I guess that's what Sony likes about me. I'll watch any piece of shit they put out at least once.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to imagine. I mean, Homecoming 2 would have to be at least Amazing Spider-Man 2 bad for me to just like give up on Spidey movies altogether.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if contrast, if Last Jedi just is like the worst movie of all time, I'm not gonna watch another Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Because like I don't think it's gonna be the worst movie of all time, but like I'm just giving a random example because Star Wars, even though I love Star Wars, isn't like my number one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, want to wrap this up in a second because
Yeah.
I guess and then sometime in the future we can talk about the fun stuff dealing with. We can talk. I can watch more episodes of Marvel's Spider-Man, that new show, so we can totally tear it apart. And so we can also
Yeah.
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 So I'm going to stop. Yeah. So bye, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.